Hello, hello, hello. It is coffee time, but I had the boiler man here, and so coffee was disrupted. But I did have coffee. Just imagine, imagine a coffee cup. Oh man, I was going to do this at the weekend, but the big thing. I don't know if do you follow anyone follow the news, or am I your main news source? God, that would be frightening. But one of the big stories recently, there's been a couple. You've had Joe Rogan, because he's been trying to cancel him. Well, somebody did a supercut of 70 plus times he said the N word, completely out of context. Because Joe Rogan's a racist. Because again, they try and alter that narrative to make him look like a white supremacist and a COVID denier. $100 million deal from Spotify though, and then The Rock got involved and said he gave me support, and then he backtracked, and then they found out that The Rock had done some dubious Chinese impression when he was a wrestler. He was a wrestler? And then they found him making anti-trans comments via Twitter. So everyone's cancelled, but the big cancel, because every day is a cancelled day, remember. Be careful, folks, don't get cancelled. But the big one was Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr is a UK comedian. I'm not a fan, mainly because he liked to try and avoid paying his tax. But he's one of these people. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan, but his special that he did dropped in December. It's before Christmas, because that's when I watched it, because it was on Netflix, and I'm paying for Netflix. I kind of forced myself to watch things on Netflix I wouldn't necessarily watch. And I watched this thing. And it's called His Dark Materials. And it's about jokes you can't tell, or, really dark, edgy material and things that could get you cancelled. Well, anyway, he makes jokes about, he makes jokes about all sorts of ththings on this TV special, all sorts of taboo subjects. But he's been picked up for one joke that he makes about the Holocaust. And everyone's jumped on him. Because, well, you're not allowed to make jokes about gypsies, apparently, or travelling community. You have to be very careful how you describe them. And so they've been trying to get him cancelled. Because this joke, again, the whole point of the joke, context is king, remember that. And we can quote out of context and make everyone look awful. But the whole point of the joke is, one, it's unacceptable. It's a bad joke, it's a dark, edgy joke. But also it's educational, because a lot of people don't actually talk about the decimation of the gypsy community, during the Holocaust. That was his point. But, he's not saying go out there and kill a gypsy, but people will twist words into any meaning they want, because that's what social media allows you to do these days. So I made a tweet. I made a tweet myself. And it was a very good tweet, but it never went viral. Right? I said, I see the gypsy community wants to remove Jimmy Carr from Netflix because of a distasteful joke. Meanwhile, the public just want the gypsy community to remove all the rubbish they leave behind when they camp on our public spaces. Maybe we can do a deal. And I was accused of being a racist for that. No, I was saying, we'll clear off, we'll get rid of Jimmy Carr if you tidy up after yourselves. Now, I'm talking from experience, because where I live, there's lots of open spaces. And whenever a traveller community turns up, they invariably leave an awful lot of detritus behind. To the point where one of our open spaces, just where I walk, they've dug trenches and a massive hole so that they can't park there anymore, they can't travel there anymore. Hey, but that's I'm stereotyping them, even though every experience of those people parking here is them leaving a mess and not taking it with them. I'm being, I don't mind if those people want to do that, and they want to live outside of our society, and they should at least respect nature. They should at least respect the public spaces, but they don't, and that's my issue. But you should never make jokes about the Holocaust, folks. You should never make jokes about the Holocaust. See, my grandfather, he died in Auschwitz. Yeah, he got drunk on duty and fell out of a watchtower. And that's the only joke you can tell about the Holocaust. See, Jimmy? See, I just told a joke about the Holocaust without offending anyone. Can't get offended by that joke. It's beautiful. But what else is on the news? That is a good question. I don't know. I don't know if there is anything on in the news at the moment, because it's all Boris Johnson this and Boris Johnson that. There's not many happy stories. They're all pretty. Oh, this was one. This was a story I saw. This is North London, Finsbury Park. Metropolitan Police raided a basement flat and arrested several men, including a suspect in his 60s. And apparently a cult was operating from this flat. The Nullo cult. I don't know if you're familiar with their workings. Well, the ringleader, I'm just going to give you the ringleader's nickname, nom de plume, I don't know. His name is the eunuch maker. Yes, the eunuch maker, because this cult involves you removing their favourite parts of their body. You know, little Darren and the plums. And apparently these guys were live streaming the castrations via you could pay to pay-per-view castrations, apparently. And the police have taken items, possibly bits, away. But apparently they're inspired by the Japanese artist Mao Sagayama, who did a performance piece where he had his items removed and served them to 5 guests at a banquet. Yeah, he cooked them and served them up for dinner. Just skip to the cheese board, wouldn't you? Just go, no. I just skip to the cheese board. It's not a good one, is it? No. Meanwhile, this is an important one. They're going to try and change the law. That addresses cyber flashing. So if you send pictures of your favourite part to strangers, you could get 2 years in jail. And I think that's a good thing. Unless you're cyber flashing via a pay-per-view thing and the cult is cutting them off. I suppose I don't even know. I don't even know where that's going. I just guess everything's just weird these days. How did we get so weird? How did we get so weird? Why did we get so weird? Meanwhile, this is Beaver Scouts. The Beaver Scouts have fallen foul of the gender brigade, because children as young as 6 have been asked to identify themselves. Are they male, female, or do they self-identify? Yes, even the Beaver Scouts have fallen foul of the gender woo-woos, and the yearly survey includes a male, female, self-identify, or prefer not to say option. These kids are like 6 years old, for Christ's sake. Again, it's just more nonsense. It's more nonsense to just confuse everybody. It was a much simpler time when I was a lad. Much simpler time. But yeah, let's end on a funny. Who wants a funny? What do you fancy? Do you fancy? Do you want to? Let's have the. Here you go. This is a good one. I know you like. Who wants to see Yulia Minana and her giant pussy? Yeah. She has a cat called Kathir, and he's a 2-stone cat, and he's absolutely huge. Look at him. Now that is one big pussy. I'm going to keep milking the pussy. Look how big he is. He's huge. She's sure that's not some sort of cougar or something, or lynx. Looks like a lynx though. Look at his ears. You know. and he's an absolute whopper. Oh, look at him wearing his little jumper in the snow. Yeah, and he's 2 years old, and she reckons that he's still growing. And he's 28 pounds. Sometimes he sleeps on her chest and wakes her up. And as you can imagine, when you've got a pussy that big on your chest, you're not going to find it hard to breathe. And on that bombshell, I think we'll end it there. I think I've done enough damage to the channel. Demonetized, Mr. Locke. Limited ads. Why, certainly. I don't do this for the money. Well, I do this for the money, but I don't do this for the money. I do OnlyFans for the money. What a frightening thought. Anyway, anyone in the chat room? Art's in. This is morning. Maiku says, hello from Alabama. Hello, Maiku. Peg says, how's my groove been? I've been patiently waiting. That is a big cat. Yeah, exactly. And Chris says, oh my days, that cat is like a lynx. It is. It's more like a lynx than a standard, pussy cat. But, my goodness, what a creature. I mean, I'm not a cat person, but he's quite an astounding specimen. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed that. Hopefully it wasn't too painful. Hopefully we've all crossed our legs. Who's going to join the Nullo cult then? Maybe I should start my own brand, my own branch of it. Come on, guys, it'll be fun. And on that, we'll end it there. Imagine I'm holding a steaming hot cup of coffee, and I'm going to invite you to drink it up. And G-Man's just popped in from the sunny Highlands of Scotland. They can never take your freedom, but they can take your cup of coffee. And Alex has just popped in. Everyone's just popping in just as I'm wandering off. Look at that. Get some nice borky then. Borky. And then not so much bokeh. Who remembers when everyone was obsessed with bokeh on YouTube? I do. So anyway, drink it up, folks, and hopefully I'll do this all again another time. And I won't get demonetized, which I will do. This will do, like I did the other day. Ta-ta.